Audio check, audio check. Can you guys hear me? Good morning, good morning, good morning. All good, all good. That sounds good. All right. Let's get this party going here. All right, let's just go over yesterday because it was a bit eventful. All right, let's actually go through a trade that was the most important trade for me yesterday, and it happened at a specific time that is significant. And if you happen that you wanted to trade the afternoon session, be aware of a very specific time frame. It is 2:45, 2:50, and 2:55. Around that time, including the 55 and the 45, you will see very active price action and very active algorithm that actually is positioning themselves for the end of the day. And typically, uh, around that time, if the market is consistently, for example, in one direction and it pauses around that time, typically you get a counter trend rallies. Bear with me 1 second here. That's right. Okay. So I'm always conscious of that time frame and especially that last 10-15 minutes of price action. Because if you have the right type of market, you really can position yourself for a very good directional trade into the close. So what happened is around 45, the market sold off, gave me a captain setup. So I was like, okay, um, I need to see a bit of a pause in price action. And we, on the 200 NT Rinko, we were at the bottom end of that channel. So I was like, okay, if I can get a pause behavior here, then typically what we'll see is a counter trend into the close. And we were getting very close to a whole number, 12,100. So I had the uh, the whole number. I had the time frame, which is the 45, 50, and 55, and I had uh, a price action that was showing signs of slowing down its momentum on the downside. I was like, okay, it's time to start. Um, you know, I got to take a bit of risk here, but we have an opportunity. So that's kind of the backdrop of the actual trade. So got in here, added to it here, and I added two lots, two tranches right here into that captain setup loan, and I held on to them. And my stop was at 25. So if we broke 25, my average would have been around the 60. So that's about how much I'm giving back 35 points for the day on that lot. And sure enough, into the 50 right here, and the market sold off one more time. And then you got the 55 was exactly right here. So the 55 is the one the market kind of ran into and got very active uh, on that algorithm. So my average of buying here was in the actually in the 50 55 because most of the lots are between 60 to 40, and my selling happened as the price was hitting these pivot points sold bunch here, sold some more here. Then I was hoping to see a full 200 NT Rinko reversal, and it was just slowing down here. So I sold some here, waited some more, and then eventually, actually, it closed it. Eventually, it closed it, but we were running into past the 3 o'clock Central Time, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. I was like, okay, well, I don't want to be stuck around here for another hour. So I ended up just getting out of that position altogether. So those buys ended up getting sold all the way through that rotation into that close. And that made the day. It doesn't matter what the amount is. What matters is the idea behind it. But ultimately, that one trade made me 21,000. And throughout that day, uh, I think into the stream close, we were negative 26, 21. Then took a break for an hour, came back, traded, made money. But after that, it just literally the market was back and forth, back and forth. I ended up basically about flat for the day till that trade actually came through for me. But that's how that day ended up. So I guess the lesson here, if there's any, is to be very conscious of 245 to 50 to 55. Keep an eye on that time frame. You're going to see a lot of activity and typically counter trend behavior into the close, especially in indecisive markets that are directional one way or another. So we're about 4 minutes away from the cash market open, and let's look into this nice bounce that the market made for us, and very solid one. Okay, so we jumped off the cliff, and they're trying to brace the market right here with a counter trend move. Ultimately, if we see 611.75, that will break yesterday's or the day before behavior, and that could set us up for a rally back up to 12,801 and a half, and we can start looking at the market from that perspective. If you look at the 200 and the 100 right now, they are extended, but you got something going on here. Is we had a trend and we had a channel number two. There's channel number one we broke, channel number two, and we broke. And now the cloud shifting. So that doesn't mean that we wouldn't experience a reversal and a push lower, but we need to outweigh ourselves more on the long side than the short side in this current environment of what I'm seeing today. So I'm going to be focused on the right setups, the right times, and the right sizing and oversizing the longs versus the shorts on proper signals. If I look at the 100 NT Rinko, same thing going on. We already hit target number three in the sequence. We should see a bit of a retracement here at the open and go from there. But ultimately, the longs need to protect the 12,200, and that is going to be a very solid support for price action. And you have channel number one, channel number two, and you have that 308 as a support area. So quite a reversal of fortune over overnight on Globex. I ended up buying some crypto yesterday in the crypto slaughter that we had. Ended up buying a little bit of Dogecoin, and I'm making about 15% on that so far. I'll show you that trade here in a minute or two. That's not what I want to do. Yeah, here we go. All right, so the first 10, 15 minutes to a half an hour, we're going to be patient. There is at 8:45 a bit of market news that is going to be important for us to be paying attention to. All right. So continuation trade on the upside at the open. It is Treasury Secretary Yellen speaks at 8:45. 8:45. So that's going to be an important piece of news. So we're getting a rotation here. And a transitional zone all the way to target number 3. Target number 4 is 564.75, and the overall trend is long. Keep Yeah, good morning, Gary. Good morning, Adam. Good morning, Yanis. Good morning, Safe. Good morning, everybody. Captain switch on the 50. Yeah, sorry, but I'm not. I'm just typing something here. Oh yeah, wow, that was a good one. That was a good one. Good captain setup switch trade on the 50 NT Rinko. I mean, those are usually very good. Wow, that's a good one. So that is going to be a pivot point for the rest of the day. We if we break below 455.75, which we 455, yep, 455. Here we go. We just broke through that. So now the 200 NT Rinko is in sync with the 100, and both are pointing to the downside. And we're seeing a little bit of selling pressure coming in. And we're looking for a new transitional zone to build up in order for us to get in there on the short side. So now we have a fresh behavior. I can participate in that one. You took it? You took it safe? Good for you. That's a good one. Whenever we see captain set up switch trade on the 50 NT Rinko, it's good for small to big amount of money depending on what the environment that we're in. But good job. Yeah, I mean they're just selling this thing. Target number 4 is 419. Target number 5 is 383. Adam, you had a question for me, and that question, let me answer it for you. It is 45, 50, 55. If you do nothing else but wait all day long for that time frame and position yourself correctly, you will find yourself doing a lot better than trading all day long. Really, just that last 15 minutes of the day. Good morning, GM. Good morning. Okay, Captain, set up short right here. Let's see if we can get a push lower again here. They hit target number 4 and came back. We need to see. Um, order filled. Target. Thank you. We just took that scalp right there. I mean, I was hoping. I have my ATM at a scalping mode right now. Just the time of the day. I'll build up a day and go from there. And if they put on another switch trade here. Order pending. Order filled. Stop. Yeah, okay. That's fine. All right, so now the market is out of sync. The 200 and the 100 is out of sync. So we need to see a couple of things happen. One of them is 431. 431. or you go all the way up to 505. All right, we're getting a continuation trade here. And the market got back in sync. Target number 2 is hit. Sellers are in charge, and at 8:45, which is happening right now, Yellen is speaking. So that's going to be an important, thing that could be very affect price action. Now look where we at in price action here. We're coming to an area where the longs need to hold the line. I mean, that's basically what it is. They need to hold the line right here. Because if we don't, we're breaking back into channel number 2 of the prior move, and that is a negative behavior. I mean, ultimately, we shifted the 200 at 59, and we've been pushing lower since then. The 340 to 320 area is the level that I'm important on. The shorts need to protect 94. Okay. So that's the spear trade that we want to see what the market does here. We got the Yellen's peak here. So that's going to be affecting the price action. And so far, not in on the long side for sure. So let's see here, 1, 2, here, 60 to 50. Yeah, we're hitting that 40 level. Between that 40 and the 20, um, we need to see the quality of price action. Are they slowing it down? Are they keep pushing through it? Do we get a new cloud to the upside? Why is that level important? Because you're literally testing channel number two from the prior day, and that's an area at a minimum you may get a pause, and or you can get a reversal. That doesn't mean it's going to happen here. It means that I'm going to be on the lookout for one. Well, you could tell that they're pausing here. Yeah, so if I'm short, I would need to be covering some of my positions here. And if we get, which we're about to do that here in a minute, at 81, 81, here we go. It's coming up right now. 81 coming up. Then the 200 and the 100 out of sync right there. See, it's that area around that 40 held. Four 30. Okay, 430. So if we go to 430, that will switch the 200 to be in sync with the 100 on the long side. And that would be a test, basically a good reversal from that 40 level, that the 340 level. So I'm talking about the 430 level. If we get up there, that would be a reversal on the 200 NT Rinko. You could tell they're trying here, but you know, trying is one thing, and actually doing it is another thing. 356. So if we get back down to 356, yeah, no, they're trying. They're trying. I would be very careful, GM. I would be careful. Good luck to you on that. Because right now the market is out of sync, at least in an NQ. ES is bouncing back off that bottom. We recognized a level between 340 and 320 as a level where the market is retesting the breakout from channel number two. So, why I say be careful is because of this. So, the market has tested channel number two right here, broke out of it. Now it comes back to retest it and it's bouncing off of it. And that's the level that we recognized early on in our early analysis is that 40 to 20 zone in this area. So now we have to the market, I mean, this is very important. Look how close we got, but not closed it. The market needs to close this candle, or otherwise, if this structure fails, then you are looking at a drop below the 300. So, what am I waiting on? I am waiting on this candle to close higher. What would I do then? I will start looking for long signals. Where would be my targets? I would have targets between here and 481, but target number one is 481, then target number two is 659, then 835. Here we go, the candle closes. So now we got a fresh behavior here, and I'm going to look for a fresh transitional zone to participate in. Yeah, I saw that captain switch on the 20 NT Rinko right here. That's a good one. All right, let me see if I can get in. I mean, we're all the way up to target number 4 here. Okay, and that's a spear trade at 36, which I'm not too interested in. See if I can get. Order filled. Target filled. Right, so we took that one for 5 points. I think I'm gonna start going to bigger targets right now. So I'm gonna flip my ATM and go for bigger targets. Yep, we are. Yes, we are. Target number 5 is hit on that sequence. That was a good one. Yeah, it's time for me to start going for bigger targets. That 40 level, I said I will be going for bigger targets, not initially in the morning, especially in that first half an hour. and especially since I that time frame is problematic for me. I want to take my profits quick, and once I make sure that I'm in sync with the market, then I'll start looking for bigger targets. We're at target number five though, so I mean here they just put on a railroad trade at 85 at 58. Yeah, I'm not gonna be too excited about jumping in here. Okay, so we're disconnecting just a tad bit here. So the longs need to protect 217 because that will close the 100 NT wrinkle. Here we go. They're coming. They're coming. Wow. It's a long market. That number changes now to 30 half. So they're doing a lot of these switch spear trades right here. And we are at 481 or close to it. I mean, that was the target that we talked about early on, right? Here you go. Boom. We hit it. So what does that mean? Well, that retest has held. That retest has held. Now, there's a lot of stuff that could happen between us and that high. And we just simply have to kind of be conscious of price action. We got to look at the 200, we got to look at the 100 and make sure that we are in sync and we're only taking the trades that are in sync. We can come in here and break that up in a forceful way and go to 658. I think the nature of this market that you will get some resistance along the way and get a candle reversal on the 200 NT wrinkle, but I can't get in front of that. I just have to wait for it to happen. But, we're getting like it's almost tempting to say every time I get a spear trade, just jump in because these markets are. But here, I mean, if I took that spear trade, I would have been under a little bit of water. So this is the reality of trading in this current environment. And that this current environment is whenever the market is moving like 300 points, 500 points, and you try to keep your stop at 10 points, you are literally in the noise. So it's almost better to cut my size and then trade in a range, meaning as long as the 100 NT Rinko is long, and as long as we have a cloud that is positive, and I'm buying in small pieces in and around the cloud, uh, in this current environment, that is a bit more successful than trying to keep things to a 10-point stop. And it's just a function of volatility. I mean, the volatility is such that 10 points is irrelevant. Even 20 points is irrelevant, because you always want to put your stop where it's relevant, not just because it's a random number that you feel comfortable with. So it's just the environment that we are in. It's lending itself to me having to trade in a different way. All right, that's it right here. Spear trade at 513 and a half. Okay. So the minute the transitional zone goes gray, and you see that, that puts itself in the transitional zone. So that's one where I have it boxed up, and that's another one that just happened. Well, it's not the green bar, it's the fact that you have a gray zone that just got built. So the minute that happens, that is the definition of a spear trade. Sometimes it's three candles, sometimes one candle, sometimes four candles. Doesn't matter. It's just that behavior of establishing a new transitional zone. It always starts with, well, I can't say always. Most of the time, it starts with a spear trade. They move fast. I mean, that's why I don't necessarily um, like to get in there, but sometimes I have to, because that's the way the market is moving. I like I like the market to do a spear trade, pull back, give me a trigger trade, railroad, captain setup, or switch trade, and then that would be my launching pad for higher prices in this situation. So our assumption about market behavior is coming true and through with that rally against that 340, from that base of 340. Need to get aggressive here. We need a little bit of disconnect, pull back, so we could get a fresh behavior back up. Uh, we need to clean and flush some of these longs down here. So this transitional zone is over, and we want to see how, if they reconnect or not. Here we go. Maybe they listen to me. All right, so 492, 492. Here we go. I'm gonna sit down here for a little bit. All right, good, good, good. All right, we got a little bit of disconnect here. The 200 and the 100 are out of sync. And what does that mean? That means that we are no longer actively looking for the longs. We are looking for the market to get back in sync before we actively look. So that means 532 is the new level that the longs need to reestablish here. But what they could do is they could sell it off into the 80 and the 60, then reverse. So I'm not going to go short and I'm not going to go long. I'm going to be patient and wait for the market to get back in harmony before I jump back in. But we could tell that you, what they are apparently trying to make us think that the market is making a double top. That's what they are trying to make us think. Why? Because if you look at the 100 NT Rinko, well, I mean, actually, not just the 100, but the 200 too. Here we go. See how that is? I mean, that's the perfect place to make a lower high and get everybody excited about a short. Let's see if they are successful. I mean, where would I be interested in considering that idea? At 455. You break 455, then we are in a position to where we can look for rallies as a shorting opportunity against that high of 550. And obviously, we're going to manage that risk a lot tighter than the whole range, but that's what I'm going to be looking for. Um, Adam, ultimately, what I'm looking for is for the market to get in sync one way or another. The way the market is behaving right now, they are fading the market against that high. Okay, that's just the initial behavior. What I'm waiting on is either the market close at 506 right now, and that will get the 200 and the 100 in sync on the long side, or we break at 456 and that will get us in sync on the short side. So those are the two levels in which if one of them happen, uh, that will position me for me to be involved. So here we go. So the market reversed here, right? So now I'm going to be looking for shorts against that high of 550. And I'm looking for a fresh transitional zone to get involved into. A lot of times when I'm talking, I'm almost talking as if I am the trader that is going to take that trade in that specific direction. So I'm always thinking, okay, well, I'm the trader who is about to take uh, a fade against that high, and they're going to do a double top. What would I think? What would I say? What would I do? How would I go about doing it? Then I'm thinking, okay, if that guy's gets trapped, how would he get trapped? And I start going through that scenario, and I'm verbalizing it so I could hear myself thinking these thoughts. Then I can ascertain what the market is about to do. But ultimately, what's going to trigger me to behave is what the market actually does. which is either a reversal on the long side or a reversal on the short side, meaning it's either everything is in sync on the long side or everything is in sync on the short side. And that what will trigger me to act. But I'm having a conversation and out loud of what I see, what other traders are thinking in certain positions. Okay, so right now, what we're looking for is are looking for a cloud to go negative and a transitional zone to show up. And guess what? The 100 NT Rinko got out of sync. So the 100 NT Rinko flipped. Well, that puts me on a pause. Let them come back and show me 455, and that will get it back in sync on the short side. Okay. I want to make decisions where the 200 and the 100 are in sync. It'll do two things for me. One of them is keep me from over trading, and second, it keeps me in a position in aligned with the biggest moves the market make. Because the biggest move the market make, you always have the 200 and the 100 in sync. Always. No exceptions. You look at every big move the market made, the 200 and the 100 are in sync. So why bother doing it any other way? All right, there's nothing for me to do here. I mean, unless I'm making a decision to get aggressive and start trading the 20 NTU Rinko, which I'm not. Break 56, I'll play. Go all the way up to 530, I'll play on the long side. Anything in between, I'm a patient man. Now, interesting that they put on a captain setup short on the 50 NT Rinko. So that's consistent with selling pressure coming in to the market. All right, so look at that. So they put the captain setup short and they took it for 1.5 candle and then came out and retested the top end of it. Now the new level is you got to see 467 on the short side and or 530 on the long side. And they, I mean, they're trying to screw people here. Trust me. That one. So we had the initial environment here, and we were looking in order to get short that the market in this zone right here. Give us a new transitional zone. That never happened. And all they did is just chop, chop, chop and higher prices. So we'll see. 467. 467. Let's see if they get there. Yeah, they want it. They want it. I mean, if they take it here, I'll take a trade.
Order pending.
Ah,
Order filled. Tar- Stop
that's
filled.
fine. That's fine. I'll take 100 here, and I'll see what happened. Yeah, yeah, they're all over the place. All right. So what you're seeing and what this is definitely an the Allen effect. You're seeing these bursts of energy. They put a captain set up long on the 50 NT Rinko. Um, so you're getting a whole lot of noise coming in into this area. Okay. So I took a switch trade right here and in anticipation of us closing under the 47. Okay. And I got to keep that type of trades very tight. So we took 5 points and went break even on the rest of it. And look at him coming right back in. And that is consistent behavior to what we saw yesterday. They were doing that all day long yesterday, which made it a bit difficult to kind of catch them. But ultimately, I think the better approach here is just to continue to wait for them to close at 467. So let them get there. Here it comes. They got there. Now we're looking for a transitional zone, a new transitional zone, if they are so kind to give us one. I mean, see that little behavior here. You think, we're recovering, then they drop it right under you. Shorts are active. Shorts are showing strength. Now the question is, will we have an opportunity to enter? I mean, at that 67, an aggressive trader will just jump in. If you're looking for, and then he has to assume 67, 87. Actually, to be honest with you, it doesn't look like it's a much of a risk on that specific structure. It's like a 10, 15 point risk. It's not bad. Now, what are we looking for? We're looking for a transitional zone to this transitional zone that we are in to disconnect, then we can reconnect back in. Here we go.
Order pending. Target filled.
Really? Okay. Well, what's happening here?
Order cancelled.
Oh, I'm short. Okay. Okay, I got short. I know I got short, but
Stop
that's
filled.
fine. It took partial orders. I think it took four out of my five, and it filled me, then left three. So that's a successful trade, but I like that one, and I want to see a transitional zone. That was a retest of the top end of the cloud, and when the market runs up at 20 plus points and does that, you're really confining your risk to only one candle or less for the potential of this. Then they can resync with the transitional zone for lower prices. So I took that structure. Now, I mean, it's if they break above 4670, then that puts me on hold because the 200 and the 100 is out of sync. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Sheila. How are you? Good morning. What you give power to? Boom. Yeah, see, whenever they do spear trades like that, it's almost you cannot get in those because that just like even if you put a market order, they'll hold your market order and fill you right at the bottom of that structure. So this type of behavior makes it a bit hard to kind of get in. Oh wow, they put a captain set up short on the 50 NT Renko too. Look at that. And you see that captain set up short, run it up, captain set up long, run it up, then boom. And now you got yourself a captain set up short. But they did this number, captain set up short, switch trade, and that was a massive move. So even if you're just going, making 5 points plus break even every single trade here, made a little bit of money or a lot of money. And we're getting a push. Same thing that's happening in NQ, it's happening in ES. So that double top idea, the traders that took that one, I mean, they definitely got rewarded. And once once we saw this happen and the 55 closed, we watched the market rally back up, trying to shake people. We didn't fall for any of it. And once the market got back in sync and in harmony, we started to participate in it and we made a little bit of money. That's beautiful. Yep. Yep. That's right, Adam. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are money detectives. That's what we do. That's the job, is to gather all the breadcrumbs and all the clues the market has given us and then act. The money is going somewhere, and it's typically going from the account of somebody that is not aware and focused and does not have an edge to the person that does. All right, so let's see what happened. If they put a captain set up here, I'm going to go in.
Order pending.
Come on.
Order filled. Target.
Thank you.
Stop
Oh,
filled.
come on. That is not nice. But anyway, so we took 5 points and break even. They slipped us a little bit, but that's fine. Yep, they're gonna get me. All right, let's see here. Well, they tried to get me. Well, that's kind of silly. Wow.
Stop.
Yeah, see
Filled.
that? Wow. Okay. That's the kind of behavior that we've been seeing. It's just very noisy. But nonetheless, we ended up hitting our initial target. We had a stop up at the 440 that didn't get hit. Left it alone. Just need one solid trade, and I swear I will be done. Yeah, we're in the middle of the range right now, and that is a typical area where a higher low can start to develop. But we're not seeing it yet. We need to see. I mean, if the market wants to do that, they need to break above 448. 448. Yep, 448. It's actually 444. Here we go. If they break 444, then yes, we could talk. That means the market is out of sync. Then there is a room for the bulls to kind of step in, but they got to show us price all the way to 81. All right, so now the market is out of sync between the shorts and the longs. It's out of sync. So two scenarios that need to present themselves. Scenario number one, 406.75. If we break to 406.75, then that is the market is getting back in sync on the short side. If we go all the way up to 481, and you got a 100 200 NT wrinkle reversal, the market is in sync on the long side. Anything in between, I am choosing to not participate in. Here we go. We got back in sync. Now it's a function of finding a fresh transitional zone. Or I can get aggressive and start, just getting short in a range, which I am kind of electing not to do that. So what I want to see is this transitional zone to be gone, and then a new one comes in, and in the new one I will participate. All right, here we go. Let's see if we can get in and get a reversal candle here.
Order pending.
I'm posting an order and I'm going to go to O5.
Order filled. Stop filled.
All right, whatever. That's fine. I do it one more time. I will get in.
Order filled.
Come on, come on.
Stop filled.
All right, they're very jittery here. So we took 5 points, and it's almost like I'm better off just yeah, just need to sit through this. Yeah, it's just more of an all in, all out, because that would have made me 500 and 500 on that trade. That's fine, whatever. Let's just keep working. We are doing the right thing in the right place. It just we need to catch a trade, catch a good trade, and get it over with. Sheila, I mean everything. The transitional zone that you have in ES is intact. It started at 4,025, and the multiple rotations into it got tested, and you had a trigger trade, a switch trade, a trigger trade, all the way down to target number three. So these rallies that we saw are what we were looking for in NQ and in ES to get short into. Transitional zone is that gray zone that you see. And look at that bad boy sell off. And that would have been the day and the trade of the day right here. Need to man up in this market and just kind of take a bit of risk. And how that risk taking would look like, it would look like in this form. It needs to be an in here and hold the rest of the contracts for a lower target and move my break even above the cloud and look to add into that trade as long as we're protecting the middle of the range and the top end of the cloud, and just keep adding to that position till we get that break into target 2, target 3. That's what would man up and get aggressive would look like for me. Yeah, funny, Adam. Yeah, a gapping hole in the hand definitely would make you think twice about a lot of things, wouldn't it? That's a beauty. Sell off. We were doing the right thing in the right place. Absolutely. And that's the key. Now just a function of capitalizing on it. How we doing, GM? What do we do here now? I mean, target number four is 295. Target number five is 252. And we're looking for a new transitional zone to build up. And that was one heck of a transitional zone here. Um, so it's just a patient thing. I mean, if I'm still in that trade, then I have opportunities to add and also to extend my profits into target number five, four, and five. But if you're not in it, then here you're kind of patiently waiting. All right, let's just keep playing the game. Ultimately, this is what we're dealing with here. 369 half is an area where the market can disconnect from the 200, and we're coming to this area that we retested the channel, and the first time we retested it, it really kind of moved in a significant way. So let's see if they have enough strength to do that this time around and go from there. Yeah, that makes sense to me, GM. Makes sense to me. Bought some cryptocurrency yesterday, Dogecoin, Ethereum. They put a cap and sub switch trade short right here for a move. Let's see what they want to do. You took it for 5 points, safe. Good for you, man. Yeah, that was a clear one. More selling, more selling. They put us spear trade right here, pushing it. Shorts are strong. Let's look for the next one. All right, guys. So we're getting a disconnect now between the 200 and the 100, and here you go. With that flip around to 300, market is disconnecting, and we need to see. To be honest with you, I'd like to see if we can get run up to the 33.40 level, then reverse. That would give us a little bit more room on the downside for a continuation trade. But we are testing, and look at this bad boy here. We are testing the channel once again. We come up right to it and bounce right back up, and that is a bit of a bullish behavior, but it's not conclusive. Ultimately, we want to see the same behavior we saw earlier on when the market closed completely on the 200 NT Rinko. Then you got yourself a run. But I'm not going to get ahead of any of this. It's either going to happen, then I act, or it doesn't happen and I don't act. ES, we hit Globax, ran back up, and in and around um, the 93 level. So, I mean, we need the longs. I mean, the overall trend is negative. I mean, when would that change? When you break above 40.13. Uh, what we're looking for right now is a reversal of this zone into a negative cloud, and then a new transitional zone happening. If that happens, then we're going to be pushing into glowbacks to the lows again, and both NQ and ES will get back in sync. Otherwise, I will be watching for the 413 to show up, and if it does, then the pullbacks will become viable. Yanis, you said, is today my birthday? So you must have looked at YouTube stream. Uh, and the true story is every day is my birthday. And the market is always a bearer of gifts. It's a running joke that I that I have in the room. So that's probably what you picked up on. But my actual birthday is yeah, that's a running joke we have in the room. Today is my birthday. And on my birthday, the market is always a bearer of good gifts. A new transitional zone has been built on the upside in ES at the 105. So like I said, I mean, a couple of things need to happen. Either NQ comes to 269, and then we're interested in a continuation trade on the short side, or they run it up to the 30 and reverse. We'll be interested in a short then, or they run it up to 355, and then that means the market is in sync on the long side at that point. One of these scenarios are going to present themselves. All right. So they sold it. Now we're looking for a market to disconnect, which you just did, and let's see if they reconnect. Let's see here. Here we go. And they are good. Yep, are giving it us. I mean, they keep doing those spear trades. Let's see if I can get another attempt at it. Nope. All right. So the shorts cannot see 305. I mean, if they see 305, that means that the market is making a captain setup long on the 100 into Rinko. So that's kind of like an area where the shorts need to protect.
Order pending. Order filled.
Here we go. Give me some money, man.
Target
Come on, here we
filled.
go. Something. All right, so they keep doing this number here. And let's see if I can get back in. That's interesting. Captain setup right here.
Order filled.
Oh, Jesus.
Stop filled.
Whoa. Whoa. That was a they held my order for like 15 points. Wow. That is not right. That is not right. I've seen a slippage of 2 points, 3 points, 5 points, not 15. Yeah, and look what they do. They just shift it all the way back down. That is jacked up. All right. Let's keep working. That's kind of the risk that you take in a volatile market. I had a stop at 87. They filled me at 302. That is that's wrong. That is wrong. That's wrong. All right, let's just keep working. So we're short here, made a little bit of money. Went short again here, got rolled over in this little mess that the market did. And now the market is continuing to push lower. And you got yourself another switch trade here. That's where should my focus should have been, because that is a beauty right here. Let's keep working. Let's keep working. It's 10 o'clock. We got plenty of time. And guess what? Those were good. So what's happening here is we collapsed this structure into channel number two of the prior day, and we are about to get into Globex. So once the market shifted here at 455, we have not seen a long signal come to the market. It is a failed one. The 100 NT Rinko, that's a failed captain setup. Let's see what else we can do here. Yeah, that was another one here, right here. I mean, you think shorting the lows is not lucrative? Look at today. Just keep selling and selling and selling. So they're playing around with Globex. They have not truly flushed it yet.
Order, order filled. Order, order filled. Order pending.
All right. Let's see if I can get a bigger move. Yeah, here we go. Nope, that's it.
Stop filled.
All right, that's fine. I'll take that one. And they are going to flush more people. It's just a game right here. It's a game of Globex, and Globex game is brutal. I mean, if they close this candle,
Order pending. Order filled.
come on, baby, come on.
Order pending.
Fill
Order
me, fill
filled.
me, fill me, fill me.
Order, order
One
filled.
more, and I'll leave one till the end, and the end, and the end. And I'm going to push that thing to see if I can get a bigger move into target number 4 and 5, and see if we can get a nice move here. I mean, if I hit target number 4, I'm not gonna lie, I'll take that one. And I'm gonna move my stop to right here so we could capitalize on a little bit more. And let's see. Yeah, we don't want to see pauses here. Like literally, we don't want to see pauses. But I'll look into one pause and see if I can withstand it. And ultimately, I want to see target number four come in. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Yep, yep. Uh,
Target filled.
I'll take that. That was fast. Look at that mess. Oof. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. You don't want to see a pause, but we ended up getting in, getting out. So two successful trades in a row in that structure was a nice switch trade right here with a new establishment of a transitional zone. And there was a trigger trade that happened right here that we took. So that is a good recovery from that little mess that we had early on with that slippage. Let's keep working. Let's see what we got going on here. So far, we're back in sync. That's amazing, actually. We're in sync on the short side. Um, yeah, look at that touch of blowbacks and fade. If we close at Globex, I'm gonna jump in long,
order filled,
and I'm gonna add to this. Come on, baby, let's go. Captain set up long, adding to it.
order filled,
Let's go.
order pending,
You are gonna do it, so go do it.
order
Took that
cancelled,
one. Let's see if we can get another push higher. Thank you.
order,
Thank you.
order filled,
Key is to go break even here and go one contract off
order pending,
and see if we can make a bigger move.
order
Okay,
filled,
and now I just let it cruise. Let it cruise, let it cruise, let it go, let it go, let it go. That's it, let it go. Target number three is my next objective on this sequence. Thank you, Tina. Appreciate it. Let it go. Somebody sang that song one day, one time. Let it be. Let it be. Well, I'll tell you what happened here. Captain set up switch trade on the 50 NT Rinko. Captain set up long on the 100 NT Rinko. If I don't get heavy here, I don't know when I would go heavy. But that is just a counter trend trade. But there's so much going for it that it just it's a gimme. Boom. Here we go. Target number three. So what would an aggressive trade look like to me?
target
Okay, I'm,
filled,
I'm gonna be a wimp and just get out. All right, well, that's a good one. That was a good one. That was a good one. I hit a target. I'm talking. Here we go. All right, so what happened here is the following. Captain set up switch trade right here on the 50 NT Rinko. Captain set up long on the 100 NT Rinko. Two things are confirming each other, and off you go. That was the big trade of the day for me. Well, so there's a bit of price stability that the market is putting together. And the 200 and the 100 now are in sync on the long side. So what am I looking for? So we got that burst of energy up, and we are looking for a pullback, a retracement, as long as we continue to hold onto 219. We do 219, we hold on to 219, then that is a sign that the market is ready for a bit of back and fill. And this is, by the way, also a retest of two things. One is a retest of Globex. Second, it's a retest of that channel, the declining channel that we were in. So they came up to it, broke it, and now they're back at it. So how is ES doing? Well, they right here, they flipped the transitional zone, put a captain setup short, came back, retested the middle of the range and failed that captain setup into target number two, and now we're in consolidation. So that is a behavior that can get us all the way up to Globex. But what we need now is another transitional zone to build up, and it could start right when we close 83 right here. So we should see a bit of a rally coming through. But I need, well, I mean, you don't want to see a captain set up short. So you need to see a break above 85 now. Ultimately, you need to see a transitional zone. I mean, we're not there yet. And we're not seeing a transitional zone in NQ either. So 200 and the 100 is out of sync. No action by me. We needed to see a transitional zone build up, and it didn't. Now the market is out of sync. So two things need to happen. One, if the market goes to 254 right now, then that will set us up for a captain setup switch trade on the 100 NT wrinkle. That would be a buy signal. If the market comes all the way down to 179, then the market is back in sync on the short side. I think the most likely they're going to play around with it for a little bit, then stabilize it. Here we go. Yeah, so now the picture changed a little bit. 244. You're looking for 244. Man, the sellers are strong, right? So here in ES, they established a transitional zone lower. So no action by our part here. I mean, two things need to happen. Either we run back up. Let's change to 230. Here we go, 230. You know what they're doing? They're playing the game around Globex. That's what they're doing. The bulls are getting punished. Well, that bull right here did not. We got long here, long here. Sold, 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 sold. But it's just not, they're not sticking around. The longs are not sticking around. Here we go. I mean, 200 and 100 now are in sync on the short side. That's amazing, actually. So what are we looking for? If they rally, excuse me, if they rally back into Globex and disconnect the transitional zone and give us another one, I'll play. right. So they did that number, and we are asking the market to stay under 220 and get back and give us a new transitional zone on the short side. If that doesn't happen, then the market will disconnect itself again above 220 and put us in a holding pattern again. Right now, the shorts are still have a chance to reassert themselves in and around Globex, and you could see how the volatility on around Globex, where they rip it up, give you the impression of a reversal, then rip it down and back and forth. It is an extremely choppy environment to be trading around Globex, and you just have to kind of be conscious of that and careful with your entries. Typically, things either going to work out quick or they're going to stop you quick. All right, let's see it. Wow, switch trade right here. That should mean pushing the price lower. Yep. That's a nice one. That's a nice one. That was a nice one. All right. Here it goes. So market is out of sync. Market is out of sync, and we're getting a lot of. See that choppiness? I'm telling you, this is an area where you want to be. You want to under trade this area. All right. So two things need to happen here. The market is out of sync on the short side, in a phase of consolidation around Globex, a choppy environment. Either 192 happens, and that will get us to consider the short again, or we go all the way to 56. We go to 56, you got yourself a captain setup on the 200 NT wrinkle long. That would be a signal for me to get active on the long side. And we may get there in like 2 seconds here. This is the kind of market we're dealing with. 56. Fast market. Okay, so they put a captain setup switch trade right here, short. Let's see, let's see. Wow. Okay, so either 207 or that 56. I mean, we got so close to that 56, it's not even funny. All right, market is back in sync on the short side. Boom. Yep, 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 yep. It's the Globex special.
Order pending. Order filled. Stop filled.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give it any more room than that. Yep. Okay. All right, let's see here. Captain set up short. All right, so they're out of sync again. That's fine. They're just playing that game around Globex, and I just need to leave them alone. I mean, if they put on another transitional zone here, short, I'll take it. But I definitely need to kind of under trade this environment. 92 would be the market getting sync on the short side. See, that's the funny thing today. The slippage has been notorious. Like I put a stop at two. I mean, they slipped me like 3 points on that. Now, if we break above the 56, I mean, it is what it is. I'm going to take some risk.
Order pending.
I'm going to take some risk and I'm going to add in a range in and around Globex, and I'm going to look for a pump up to 300.
Order filled. Target filled. Target filled.
I like that one, but I want to stay in these trades a little bit longer. So captain set up long on 100 NT Rinko, and let's just see if we can get a disconnect of the transitional zone and a reconnect of it. Now they're putting the captain setup short. That's fine. That may be good for us because that puts a little bit of pressure on the market to go to that 50 range. And I mean, do they want me to go short right here? I mean, if they close that candle at 61, yeah, there'll be captain setup switch trade short. I'll leave it alone and I'll see how the push lower gets handled. But that was a decent trade. Hit the targets on that one. Yeah, they're gonna push this a little bit lower, which is fine. I mean, that's what I'm looking for anyway. Ooh, yeah, they're failing that thing. Boom. Okay, got some buyers in the house. There's some buyers in the house. That's good. So they never disconnected the transitional zone, and they just kept pushing higher and higher. So the 300 target that we were looking at, it's happening. Yep. They tested, retested. We were looking for an opportunity to go short right here, and they flipped it and put a captain setup. We took a small stop, and then we saw the captain setup and ran right into it into a higher price action. So that captain setup, if you look at the 200 NT Rinko, signifies in many places as a big area for a big move, and sometimes it's a big turn in the market. I'll show you an example if I can, going backward. All right. So the closest one to that example would be, well, that's a captain setup switch trade. They ran it up, captain setup short, and that was a good from 804 to about 300 points, a little bit over 100, 300 points, and now we're getting this one. So I mean, 200 points would be what? It'd be 455 from the beginning of that move. So that is a target. All right. How is everybody doing so far across the board? Streams and in the trading room. How you guys doing? Adam, how we doing? Small, okay. That's good. Managed. That is well managed. Not an easy day today. Safe, how we're doing, Safe? It's all good, all good. Say, Yanis, any action from your part? Sheila, how we doing, Sheila? Randolph, GM, Frida. And we got somebody new, Tina. How is Tina doing? Oh, those captains helped you out. Okay, that's good. All right, it's 10:43. What am I looking for here? The 200 and the 100 out of sync. So I am breaking out a lot voice wise. Are you guys experiencing that same thing? Everything is perfect. Everything. Nope, nope. So it seems like it's something on your end, Sheila, because you see the comments. Everybody seems to be hearing me fine. How is people on stream doing? All right. So we're coming very close to the end of the session for the morning. We are up 23:55, and be honest with you, it was a slugfest today. I mean, the majority of the trade were decent. I mean, that's the only one that I literally got slipped 15 points. It never happened. It never happened. You slip you 1, 2 points, but this market is so volatile that a stop is getting slipped above average. So you're just gonna have to be careful, I guess. I mean, but anyway, so ultimately we just kept working and kept understanding the market, and we came out with 23.55. And if we go into the beginning of the month, we are running at 70 right now, and the trades and the days are as follows: 16, 3, 15, 18, 7. Yesterday was a great day. I explained that trade early on in the morning, and now today is the 23.55 that you're seeing. That's where we at. Now let's see if we can find something else to jump in. And we are out of sync on the short side. I mean, on the long side, the 20 and the 100 and the 200 out of sync. So the last 5 minutes of the morning session, I'll go back and take a look at that big trade yesterday for the people that didn't see it, because there's an important time frame in price action that you see a lot of increased in volatility, and typically a bit of a predictable price action, and that's the last 15 minutes of the day. And now the market is deciding that it wants to, if we go to two, if we go to 231, that will get the 200 and the 100 in sync. I could do that. I gotta remember though. Okay. So now the 200 and the 100 in sync on the short side now. And I mean, that's just the type of market we're dealing with here. So we're looking for rallies back up as a shorting opportunity against that 310. And we're looking for a new transitional zone to help us out with that. Meaning, I need to see a disconnect of that transitional zone and a reconnect back up. If that happens, then I'm a player. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'll just keep watching it. And you see what they're doing in a way. They they put on a decent looking structure, which is that captain set up long on the 200, and they have not failed it yet because that failure would have to come in at 170. So we still the longs here still have a chance of holding the line and eventually go up to that 300 back up again. But they need to kind of come and do that fairly quickly. And how would they start doing it is first they have to go and break above uh, 244. If they do that, then okay, we're seeing an attempt Then from there, they gotta close the 200 NT wrinkle. All right, so the market is out of sync between the 200 and the 100. I mean, look what they did. They took it all the way to that tick. That's always amazes me. To the tick, to Globex. Boom, ran it up. Boom, ran it up again. If we break back down again to 204, the market will be in sync. That's always been the case, Adam. Whenever we get to Globex like that, price action becomes very choppy, very whippy, and that's why I kind of try to avoid trading in that environment. But today it's been okay. So looking at the big picture here on Nasdaq, we came all the way back up there, obviously at 541, and the sellers put up a fight. They put up a big fight. But that doesn't mean that the longs would not have a piece of the action, a piece of the action for the day, because obviously they are in some spots are putting up a fight, and you're getting a push. So my job is not to really overcommit or think in terms of the market being long or short. I got to think of it in terms of being in harmony or out of harmony, as defined. 200 and 100 in harmony. Well, guess what? I don't care what else is going on. That's the direction I'm going to explore as an entry point in that environment. The world could be, famine and feast, or, famine and wars all over the place. But the 200 and 100 is long. I mean, the market is the market is telling me something. I got to follow the market. Okay, the market is back in transitional zone. Let's see here. Back to Globex. Selling it. Doing the same thing. Look at that. Boom. Out of sync again. And they're testing that Globex to the tick and just punching it back up. The 200 and the 100 are out of sync. And they're playing the Globex game right now. Wow. All right. You close above 280, then the 200 and the 100 are in sync. So in ES, we're looking for a transitional zone to build up on the long side. 200 and 100 are in sync on the long side in NQ. So there is a case to be said about looking for long signals in this environment, as long as in NQ we continue to protect 241 and in ES to continue to protect 3970. Those two levels are important for the continuation of the upward momentum. If we start to fail into those levels, then the market goes back into out of sync and we just wait and wait till that gets back in sync. So now it's 11 o'clock and okay, that's kind of my morning session. And here they come buying the stuff. Yep, you can manage to get in. And my day is gonna, at least my morning is gonna end up at 23:55. That's it for me, guys. I mean, we fought a good fight. We came on top, and I am gonna take a break. And actually, I talked about that last. I'll spend 5 minutes, and we'll talk to you about that one trade. Some of you who came into the room early saw it. And let's see here. Yeah, here we go. So a couple of things. One of them, what's important about this idea is the following. There's algorithm that actually gets very active around the end of the day, and you could really see them if you just kind of put on your charts around the time of 2:45 Central Time, which is 15 minutes before the top of the hour and the close of the morning of the trading session. So 2:45 Central, 2:50, and 2:55. And typically, what you will see is if the market is very decisive in one direction, typically any fading or short covering in the case of this trade kind of happens around that last 15 minutes of the trading day. So that's an assumption you still have to kind of look and manage your position. But that's the first thing. The second thing is around that time we were very close to a very critical ES level. So between that and the fact that we are hitting those time frames of 245, got into a long, added to it, then another another add, and add here. So my average of that trade was in the 50 range, and I had a stop at 30, so about 20-point risk on that trade. And I was looking for that behavior into the 55. So the 255 zone. So the market flips, gives me a transitional zone and a cloud on the upside. Then it gives me another spear trade, and the market just start ripping up. And in that rip up, I start to feed my initial position out. Sold, 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 came back and sold some more. Was hoping to see a complete 100, 200 NT wrinkle reversal. So you have to remember the market was not reversed yet, but it was in the process of reversing. So that's the counter trend against that massive move lower that you would typically see uh, around that time. And then when the market slowed down, I got rid of one. Then it slowed down again, and I got rid of uh, the rest of it. And that was that trade. So that trade was a significant one for my day. And that is how that one looked like yesterday. See here if I can show you. Yep, yep, yep. That decision ended up, I was flat pretty much into it, up 641, and ended up with 25 contracts on that trade and 20 grand decision. And the market is giving us a lot of it. Basically would have cost me like 8 grand if it failed. There's a lot of opportunities like that in this market, but it's unfortunately not a one spot area that you could pick. It's just the market is too volatile for that right now. It's you have to kind of trade in a range against very solid levels, and you put your stop, you take your stop, and you just kind of move on from there. Okay. But throughout the day, back and forth, we're playing footsie with the market till that end of the day trade. And that was it. And we're playing footsie with this market today. And we're up 23.55. So that's it. That's what happened. That's the logic. So if you take anything out of it, look over the 245, 250, 255 time frame and look for reversal patterns to whatever the prevailing trend is. How do I group my trades? They group themselves automatically on Ninja Trader. Okay, so what we're seeing here, I mean, we're talking, yeah, I mean, it's an ATM thing too. All right, guys, so I'm done. We'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a blessed day. Stay disciplined, stay focused, and we will see you on the next one.